How long you think it was gonna take before we got here? Now you gotta prove yourself all over again. Come on.
Ain't nobody coming, I've been gunning from 100 yards, trying to hit my mark, missing every time. This'll be the start of the picture perfect. Watch you.
Not quite sure what happened there, but hello, everybody. Welcome back to Horse Racing Today with myself, HRT Rich, and our good friend, Terry Hollywood. Hey, we were talking a little bit about the Kentucky Derby and all those races beforehand. And first of all, congratulations to Charles. He picked out Mage straight off of the workouts, right? Which goes back to what Mike Smith shared with us. The horses that work out well at Churchill tend to run well at Churchill, and Mage proved that to be the case again.
Yeah, I give him props. So,
and then, of course, I think a lot of trainers are going to reconsider their running style over there now going forward, because the last 2 years, everybody's trying to get to the front because that had been the way to the Kentucky Derby winning circle, and now it looks like maybe closers. So,
yeah,
wouldn't be surprised to see some slower fractions next year.
Yep, I think you're right.
And then we were talking a little bit about Terry's long shot in the Nobles. Again, one that we had Larry Rivelli on the show, and he had mentioned it, that he was going to scratch the horse. And then he didn't scratch the horse. And that should have been a clue to everybody that horse was live. And, we always talk about how you want to tune in, you want to go ahead and hit the subscribe button and watch the Horse Center show, which tonight, by the way, we'll be back at 8 p.m. Eastern with Jamie and Sean. They'll return for the post-Kentucky Derby show. And tonight we have on a guest, Brandon Poole. So he's a gate member down there, I think, at Tampa Bay Downs, if I remember correctly. Should be a fun show. You're going to learn about what it takes to be a gate crew member. And I'll tell you one thing, it takes, in Spanish, they call it cojones.
Yeah.
That is a tough job, my man.
It is.
But anyway, I was mentioning why you want to tune in. It's funny how things work in life sometimes, Terry. We decided kind of last moment to go to Hawthorne. We knew you were going to be there, and we kind of worked that out on the fly because you're coming up from Oaklawn. I couldn't make it for family matters, so we ended up catching up. And then while we were over there, at the very last minute when we were about to leave, a very nice waitress came up to talk to us. Who are you guys? Blah, 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 blah. That sort of conversation. The very last part of the show she was in, very beautiful girl, and very nice, friendly. And she had mentioned that she knew Larry Rivelli. So we ended up getting Larry Rivelli's phone number. Sean reached out to Larry, who was very cordial, was happy to be with us, skipped the Kentucky Derby dinner to talk to us. So thank you. And all of that kind of came together for one person in particular, Ross Blacker. If you see, he tweeted out, he put the one horse in his pick 5 ticket, said he wouldn't otherwise put it in there. Right. And that pick 5 ended up paying $92,181.38. And there you can see it on the screen, verified. No BS. No, I had it. Here it is. You can see it. So to say that it actually could pay, it could pay $92,000 to pay attention to what we're doing around here. So make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and follow what we do, because every now and then we get something right.
Yeah. Yeah. It was right too. And actually, that pick 6 paid over $1 million. And you could have, if you thrown that one in that first leg, it wouldn't have been that hard to get that pick 6 using our picks. We only had one other leg that we didn't have the winner in, and our horse actually got beat just by like a nose by that other horse. So
the 1 and the 2 horse on that other race where the 14 came up and got him. Yeah, that was. I went back and looked at that 14, and I thought, man, it'd be kind of tough to go ahead and find a way to put that one in there because he hadn't really shown a lot of form. All right, enough of all that. We're here to talk about something different today, Terry. Well, nothing different. It's the same that we always talk about. And that, I'm trying to edit something as I speak, and it's not going well because my mouse doesn't want to cooperate. All right, so now it has cooperated. We want to talk about race 1 at Parx. That's what we're going to do today. Parx at race 1 today is going to be a festival of 6 furlong races today, starting off in race number 1, claiming 5,000 non-winners have won in a year, or since November. Purse is $18,000. 6 furlong winners. Keep this in mind. Watch this first race, kind of see how the bias plays out. Usually on Mondays, it's been speed, but the last couple of weeks, last week was closers. Tactical speed, usually the way. 36% of your 6 furlong winners go wire to wire. Post positions 1 through 7 play fair. get an 8 or out, you get a little bit of a bonus. Terry, for the first time today, let's take a look at our simulations. Who's going to have the lead? Whose odds are too high? Whose odds are too low? And who's going to get a good trip?
Well, look at that 8 and the 1, but the 8 should get there if it gets out of the gate pretty good. As far as the overlays go, the 1 has a pretty nice overlay under even money simulated odds, and it's 5-2 on the morning line. And then the 3, a small amount. It's supposed to be 11-1 simulated odds, and it's 15-1. As far as the comfort zone, you see there that the 6 and the 5 and the 2 and the 1 have the best comfort zones, although all of them but maybe 2 or 3 have pretty good ones.
Yeah, if you're just kind of looking at it, again, the 2 out of 3 thing is something that I've noticed works out well. Excitable Lady on the front end here has all 3. Simulated odds, decent chance to be on the lead, and a okay C-zone score, not the best C-zone score. We also like to look at how the horses like to run, which way suits their running style. The 6 horse here can be the Loney Miss Malevolence. Let's see if that horse actually is going to get the lead according to some recency numbers. It looks like it has a shot, but really kind of a little bit behind maybe a few other horses in there. So it could be a discouraging trip for Miss Malevolence if she does not get the lead. As far as our late pace shows, Canine Cool, the 4 horse, a closer, does have that best late speed in there, although it should be tracked closely by a couple of others, including the 1 horse, Excitable Lady. If we pair up the early race with the late race numbers, we're going to find that you have a Miss Excitable Lady here with a 6-point advantage over the rest of the field. Good enough advantage to pay attention to, but not necessarily one that is so big that you have to start there. But I think that's where we're both starting.
That's right. The number 1 Excitable Lady, my first pick right now. She's 3-5 on the morning line, or odds. She has the highest last race speed rating, drops in class today. I like the 8 as my second pick, Live Aid. She ran second versus similar. Her last race has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and her best start speed is fastest among today's starters. Number 6, Miss Malevolent. She drops in class today and has a high percentage winning jockey. The 5 is my long shot. She has finished in the money in 40% of the races at Parx Racing and won 13% of those races. Has done well at this distance too. Been in the money 52% of the starts. Win 24% of those races. Has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. I'm going to bet a dollar pick daily double 268 with the 3-9.
I'm going to also start with the rail horse, Excitable Lady. It does drop in class after the top last race speed figure combination I like to see. Going to get a little bit of a weight break today on top of that. Number 8, Live Aid. Funny thing about that show, I lived in the Poconos at that time when they had it down at Philadelphia. I had tickets to it, but my car broke down and I couldn't go, which is really, considering the historic event, a disappointment. But it is the top early pace horse according to the sim. Last time out, did run better fractions at 7 furlongs than it did 6 furlongs. So cut back in distance today could be beneficial for Live Aid. And Genetti, the last race was better than it looks for that 5 horse on paper with improved mid to late race numbers. And this one's making a sneaky drop in class from non-winners of 2 to non-winners of 1. So I guess a new condition to open up for this horse. Finally, number 6, Miss Malevolence. That 6 horse is the potential to be the lone E-horse, as we saw in the Way to the Winner's Circle graph. Dropping in class from Laurel, and certainly the young sensation Sophia Vives has been on fire. Let's see if she can continue with her winning ways here. I'm going to do trifecta, 158, the 18 with the 14568. And as you know, we have a $100 budget, which is what we like to do. See if we can spread that across all tickets, all races, and find some winners in there. Hopefully some ROI, Terry.
Yeah, and I had to make a correction. For some reason, I had the wrong numbers there. So I corrected it to the 168 to the 3-9.
Okay, so we got Terry's bet in there correctly. We're going to go off to, they got 2 minutes to race 1. So let's go ahead and prep race number 2, Terry, and then we can come back if we don't have time to get through it all. What do you say?
All right.
The second race today, as we look at the card again, is hold on, I got to put this up in here, get myself back oriented. As I said, it's a 6 furlong festival, tactical speed. You do get a little bit of a bonus if you wear the 8 or out. 6 furlongs, Terry, in race number 2, our first scratch, Booker Royalty, but it doesn't really impact the early pace.
That's right. The 8, 5, and 7 look like they'll be the ones to get out there. The 7 and the 8 should go head to the quarter pole. Who knows who's going to get there first? The 3 has a pretty nice overlay. It's supposed to be like 8 to 5, and it's actually 4 to 1 on the morning line.
Mhm.
And the 8 has a small overlay, 4 to 1 versus 6 to 1.
Again, you see it in the 8-horse, strong overlay, strong C-zone, strong chance to be on the lead, a little bit of an overlay. I like to see those type of horses in my picks, Terry. Let's go and look and see where they're doing. They're starting to load. So let's go real quick to this, and then we'll go back to race number 1 and talk about what happened.
Okay.
Looking at this race shape, you got 3 that want to be on the front, 4 that want to be in the middle, and a closer. I would say it has a shot to favor some early speed, which looks like the 5 and 7. That's where they want to be. The 7 will have a shot to be on the front, as will the 5. Their numbers fit for front runner types. Late pace speed belongs to the 3-horse, Blunt Force, and Adwaha. Those 2 are well above everybody else. And let's look at the final early pace, late pace numbers. 3-horse, 6-point advantage over the rest. And they're about to kick it off in race number 1, Terry. So let's go ahead and pull race number 1 up again, Terry. And then we'll talk about our picks in race number 2.
Okay.
So in race number 1, we have all but the 4-horse and the 8-horse looking like they're to load. And Jessica Paquette goes on mute so I can think because it's tough to have someone in your ear.
No, it is. It's very tough. Yeah.
It's one thing if they're telling you like, hey, its name is Kanai, not Kane or whatever, and then they just stop. But it's just all right. So it looks like they're all loaded in there. The starters, well, I don't think the 8-horse has quite made its way into the gate yet. There it goes. The gate assistant is up on the 8s. Hey, settle down there, big guy. The 3-horse is getting a little bit antsy. Did he get settled back in? It looks like he did. And they're off to start racing for the new week. And that 8-horse in their live aid, as we suspected, Terry does pop out to an early lead, a nice kind of easy early lead, to be honest with you, followed by the 1-horse, Excitable Lady, that favorite right there on second on the rail. Again, last week, closers got the better of the speed horses. So let's see if that holds up today.
Yeah.
As they go through. Well, it looks like they should post the opening quarter, but the 8-horse continues to hold the lead. Live aid. The 1-horse on the rail kind of falling off a little bit. Opening quarter in 23 and 2. Not the fastest numbers for a 6-furlong race. The 7-horse in here, Quasar, has ranged up along the 8-horse. He's kind of standing tall on that 7-horse. I think he might have a little bit more horse than the 8 as they come through the turn, but we'll find out because the jockey on the 8 hasn't really asked for anything out of the 8, but he's starting to go a little bit more with the arms. 7-horse is taking the outside trip, so let's see if they can hold up. It's going to be tight, but I think the 7 is going to end up having more horse at the end. We'll see. I don't know. The 8-horse is looking like it's going to hold strong in here, starting to pull away from the 7, Terry.
Oh, wow.
So it looks like the 8-horse is going to be your winner. It is going to go 8 over the 7 and then the 5. 8, 7, 5 in your opener, folks. Terry's double is alive, and unfortunately, my pick 5 is my trifecta is not. So there you go. 8-horse. Looking again here, you have that early speed held up, Terry.
Yeah, it did.
Back to Mondays again.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. All right. So decent start. Would have liked to see the 1 finish second, but hey, sometimes it's racing, right? And glad to see that speed is holding up because I kind of thought it would, and I handicapped for speed. In race number 2 is where we're going to go back to, Terry. We went through the early pace setup. We went through all the simulations. Now it's time to go through our picks.
All right.
Tell us, who do you like and why?
I like number 3, Blunt Force. She won her last race at Parx Racing, has the highest last race speed rating, and her best start speed is fast among today's starters. Knockout Kid, the 6, is my second choice, won her last race at Parx Racing, and she has the highest speed figure at today's distance. A Fleet Diva, my third pick, is the 8-horse, has won 2 out of her last 3 races and has a high percentage winning trainer. Fast Intentions, the 1, is my long shot. She won her last race at Parx Racing, and she likes this distance, winning 33% of the starts. And then I'm going to do a trifecta, 50 cent. I'm going to do the 3-6 with the 3-6-8 with the 1-3-5-6-8.
I am going to start with the 8-horse in the second race. Let's see if they can go back-to-back 8s. 88, Michael Irvin. to get started with Lynn Swan, I guess, if you're a Steelers fan. Let's get started with that in the first two at Parx. A Fleet Diva, strong chance to have the lead. Very strong C-zone score. We just saw that, and a little bit of an overlay. So again, a trifecta in our simulated stuff. Number 3, Blunt Force. This one's the favorite according to the simulated odds here and has the top early pace, late pace combination in the field. Fast Intentions, the one horse rides that rail, is the lone EP style. So again, let's take a look real quick back here, Terry, what I mean by lone EP. EPs are horses that can be either pilots or co-pilots. So they're very versatile. So if the 5 and 7 go too fast, then one horse should get a pretty nice trip and sit behind that speed and see if it can close out. Also, first off the claim for trainer Patricia Farrell. Now, this is a 5% trainer who normally would kind of scare me off a little bit at 5%. But first off the claim for Patricia's a 15% winner. So 3 times her normal hit rate. That is alpha angle all the way. And then finally, the one name I didn't want to have to pronounce more than once, Adwa. Consistent performer. I expect this one to be closing at the end. And closers did well last week. They didn't do well to start today, but it also has a strong C-zone. So it should be comfortable with the trip it gets. Pick 4 for me, 3-8 with the 1-3. I'm going to single the 1 in race number 4 with the 5, 7, and the 9.
All right.
Race 3. Are we going to go back to 6 furlongs again? Are we going to finally move off the 7 furlong race? One of the few today that's not 6 furlongs. This is a maiden claiming 10 grand. Purse is $20,000. 7 furlong winners have early speed, 35% take them from gate to wire. Very strong inside 3 bias, 4 and out so far at least. Have played considerably under par, Terry. In the third race, tell us about the horse with the most wheels.
Yeah, looks like the 4, 2, and the 3 have the most speed. So anyone's guess who's going to get there first between those 3 horses. And then the overlays, there's a very small overlay on the 2. It's supposed to be like 7-2, and it's listed at 4-1. And the 3 has a pretty nice overlay. It's supposed to be less than even money simulated odds and listed at 3-1 in the morning line. As far as the C-zones, the only one that has any C-zone is the 2. A little bit for the 4, and that's about it.
Yeah, everybody should be uncomfortable in this race. It's be interesting to see which one makes the most out of what looks like potentially uncomfortable circumstances for everybody. You see over here, the 1, the 4, the 5, and the 7, they all get an NC rating, which means they've never been close in any of the races, closer than 5 lengths to the leader at the finish line. That leaves the 2, the 3, and the 6, Terry. Of those, the 2, the 3, and the 6, as far as early speed is concerned, that's going to go to the 2 horse, but the 5 horse could kind of mess things up a little bit in there. Late pace, the 2 horse will kind of fall off, it looks like, but the Aztec Queen, good combination of early speed and late speed in here, Terry. If you put that combination together, does score about 11 points higher than the next closest horse. That's a big number. May not win, but horse you absolutely have to have in your bets, Terry, and I think indeed you do.
I do. I like the 6 as my first pick, Aztec Queen. She's got the highest last speed rating. Her best start speed is fastest among today's starters. She's actually tied with another one. And the trainer that she has wins 20% of the maiden claiming races he has an entry in. Escandalo?
Escandalo?
Got Dallo. Yeah. Number 2 is my second pick. Her best start speed is fastest among today's starters. She's actually tied with the Aztec Queen, and she has a high percentage winning jockey. Then the 3 is my third pick, drops in class today, has a trainer who wins 20% of the races when bringing back a horse that's been off for 90 plus days. And then Queen Pin, my long shot, the 4, drops in class today, and the shorter distance should offer some kind of hope for improvement. I'm going to bet $10 to win on the 6.
Well, the 3 horse is going to win this race. Gladiatora comes in from Gulfstream Park, so it is a track dropper, and it is the biggest class dropper in this field. So you got a class drop and a track drop. That's been a pretty strong combination to find winners. Although Aztec Queen should have a say in that. Did run the top last race. Speed figure with better, but not very good 6 furlong time. But the time was an improvement from the prior start by about 2 seconds. If it can continue on that trend, cut another 2 seconds off, then maybe we're talking about something. But does have that strong early pace, late pace advantage. We'll see if that can hold up against the Gulfstream track dropper. Escadalo, the 2-horse, chance to be close to the front, has the only C-zone score worth mentioning in here, but not a good one, as we talked about. And that inside 3 post could be beneficial. And finally, the 4-horse, I love my comment here, hasn't been as bad as the rest, Terry, and has a chance to be towards the front and does have the top opportunity according to our simulator. So I'm going to do a trifecta. I do think this is a 2-horse race between the 3 and the 6. So put $2 across the board on every other one. 3-6 with the 2-3-6 with the 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 for my trifecta. In race number 4, I have a sneaky suspicion we're going to go back to 6 furlongs, Terry. Yeah. And we are. We're going to go 6 furlongs, claiming 7,500, non-winners of 4 lifetime, purse is 23 grand. At the 6 furlongs again, tactical speed best, 35% wire to wire. Outside a little bit, 8+, a little bit better than 1 through 7. In the 4th race, Terry, our 4-horse in here, Class C Miss, has scratched, but that shouldn't change who's going to be on the lead by any stretch.
No, that one looks like there should be no problem if it gets out of the gate good. Should get there ahead of everybody else, that quarter pole. And it has a really nice overlay. It's supposed to be 2-1. It's double that, 4-1 on the morning line. The 7-horse, he has a little over even money, or about 8-5, and it's listed at 9-2 on the morning line. And then as far as the C zones, boy, there's a lot of C zones on in here. There's a 3, 6, 7, and 8 have pretty nice C zone numbers.
Now, 1-horse, 94%, 95% chance they're going to be on the lead. 95% chance it's going to like being on the lead, and a nice little overlay as well there. So that's a triplet again in there, Mr. Terry. Yeah. Looking at it, you got a race here where you got 2 horses, the 1 and the 3, that want to be on the front. Everybody else wants to be middle or back, except for maybe the 7 as a PC type could potentially be a part of that early speed. According to our most recency bias, the 1-horse Frosted Wild Ride, a 95 score over the 90. That's a 5-point lead. That's equal to 1 length. Like you said, Terry, if it gets out of the gate without a problem, should be your leader at the quarter-mile marker. As far as late pace is concerned, yeah, pretty competitive for everybody except maybe Don't Tell Frankie, the one of the 2 never close types in here. Finally, the early speed, late speed combination does go to Huey Lewis in the News. Power of Love, 161-point score, but everybody else in there is kind of tight as well. How do you like this race to play out?
I like the 3-horse yellow dress. She's won 2 races in a row and going for a hat trick, which is a favorite angle of mine. Has a high percentage winning jockey. The 7, Power of Love, is my second choice. She finished 3rd versus similar in her last race, switches to high percentage winning trainer and switches to high percentage winning jockey, has the highest speed figure at today's distance. That 1-horse, that speedster, Foster Wild Ride, is my 3rd pick. She ran 2nd versus similar in her last race and can improve at the shorter distance, which will be a good plus for her. Don't Tell Frankie, number 6, is my long shot. She has finished in the money in 36% of the career of her career races, and she's won 14% of those. I'm going to start this with a pick 4, and because I think it's pretty wide open race, I'm going to go with a 3, 1, 3, 6, 7, and then the 3, 6 in the 5th race, the 5, 7, 8, 9 in the 6th, and then the 2, 3 to finish it up in the 7th.
I like Frosted Wild Ride in here with that really strong overlay, really strong chance to get to the lead, top C-zone score. The 1-horse going to get to the lead, and like the 8-horse we saw in race number 1, not going to give it up. Yellow Dress, top last race speed figure, tied for it anyway. Winner of 2 in a row with Jamie Torres on board and the weight break. Number 7, Power of Love, has the most upside in the race, I think. Trainer James Noble and jockey Michael Sanchez. They've teamed up 8 times. They've won 3 of them, been in the money 6 out of 8 times with a beautiful ROI of $4.13. You got to like that number. Put $1 in, get $4.13 back. Try that at your bank if it's still open, not closed down by the feds. Number 8, Lulinda's Heart. Other to tie for the top last race speed figure, but the distance is a little bit of a concern for me. 5 times out, only a 3rd at 6 furlongs, but at times has some superior late pace numbers. So if they can find that late gear, good chance to clean up the gimmicks. I'm going to do a try with the 1, 3. I pick 4, 1, 3 over the 1, 3, 6 over the 5, 7, 9. and closing it out with the 3, 10, and 12 in the final leg. In race number 5, they're going to go. Guess, Terry. Can you guess? 1 mile, 70 yards. I was going to try to trick you there on that one, Terry. But at 1 mile and 70 yards, hold on a second, folks. Got to pull something up on my screen here so I can get the right race in here. At 1 mile and 70 yards, the kind of horse that you typically want to back, does have some early speed. About 30% go wire to wire. The post position, so distract and attack, does have a little bit of advantage over the rest of the field. 2 through 7, they play fair. 8 and out, a little bit of a ding, but not a deal killer at all, Terry. Early speed in race number 5 looks like it belongs to the one horse again, distracted attack. The rail's going to be quick today.
That's right. But the 4 and the 2 might have a little something to say about that. So I got I'm guessing about who's going to get there first. You just don't know, especially if they don't get a clean break. Mm-hmm. And then 3 has a pretty good overlay. It's supposed to be like what, 6 or 7 to 5.
Yeah, it's about 6 to 5, somewhere in there, 7 to 5. Uh-huh.
And it's 7 to 2 listed on the morning line. As far as the C zones, you see there that 1 has a really good C zone, and then you've got the 6 has a great C zone also with the 10. Also, so and so you got some pretty nice C zone numbers in there.
Yes, with Mucho Macho Eddie, probably a Mucho Macho Man offspring, and good friends of great people. The Reeves own that Mucho Macho Man. So as we take a look here, Terry, at what race are we in here again? Race number 5, right? Yes, I was a bit confused. Race 5. Our race shape here in race number 5, we see that the 1 and the 3 want to be on the lead. They're your pilot types. So only one of them can have the lead, Terry, and the other one could get discouraged. And it looks like the one horse has a little bit of an advantage over that 3. So maybe the 3, some cheap speed, gets out to the front, fades a bit. The 7 horse, Miracle Silver, doesn't need the lead, can be the co-pilot. The 6 horse in here, Relishment, as your lone PC, could be the most versatile horse, and maybe kind of happy with that trip. Let those 3 burn themselves out. Sit in front of those closers and see what happens. In terms of the late speed, that does belong to the 3 horse in there, though. So look out if he can get up front, because he's got the legs to hold it up. And then finally, the early pace, late pace combination, 5-point advantage for Screensaver. Could be an interesting race for Screensaver, Terry, because he's wanted to win on the lead, probably not going to get the lead, but has the late legs to come home. So what do you think?
Well, I like the 6 as my first pick. Relishment. That's right. He won his last race at Parx Racing, has the highest last speed rating, and his best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. That 3 that you were talking about, Screensaver, is my second pick. Drops in class today, has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey, and then Drina's Bullet is his third pick. Number 2 finished second versus similar in her last race, and his last rate, and his best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. And then I like the 4 Samurai Saint as my long shot. He drops in class today and has a high percentage winning trainer and switches the high percentage winning jockey. I'm going to bet $1 daily double. Use the 2, 3, 4, 6 with the 5, 9.
I'm going to go with Screensaver. I think it'll probably show a little bit more pace today. Jamie Ness and Ruben Silvera, just a deadly combination. Probably not the right word in horse racing. A dynamic duo at Parx, unquestionably, has some very strong late pace numbers, as we saw in our pace worksheet there. And it's running at its lowest level in 10 races. So I think you're going to see it move forward off the class drop today and then utilize those late legs to get on home. Relishment, the 6 horse, is a top last race speed figure. This one is trained by Michael Simone, who wins, I think, about 26% off of the claim, like today. And this horse ran some much faster fractions in its last race, something I like to see. Distract and Attack has a really good chance to be up front. Very strong C-zone score, and you got to like that with the rail advantage. And finally, number 4, Samurai Saint, making the 3rd start after a layoff, is going to drop in class. And despite a poor performance last time out, Frankie Pennington is going to ride again. Trifecta for me, 1, 3, 6 over the 3, 6 over the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. Now I'm pretty sure we're going to go back to 6 furlongs, Terry, and probably spend the rest of the card at 6 furlongs at Parx. This is indeed 6 furlongs, a maiden claiming $25,000 affair. The purse is $28,000. Again, 6 furlongs. Tactical speed, early front runner types do wire the field about 35-36% of the time. You do a little bit better if you have an 8 and out, 1 through 7, play fair. In the 6th race, Terry, as far as early speed is concerned, well, we have the scratch. The first-time starter is out. Blanchiment is out, the 4-horse. But it looks like all the speed's on the outside with the 8 and the 9.
That's right. That you picked that right there. If they can get out of that gate, those 2 outside horses will probably go head to head, see who gets there first. The 7 has a overlay, a pretty nice overlay. It's supposed to be like 6-5 or 7-5, and he's actually listed at 5-1 in the morning line. And then your comfort zones are, most of these horses, but the 6 and the 7 are the best too.
So Superman Bass Fisher says, why are you guys always centered on pick 5 and pick 6? I know once in a while we do a pick 5. We did the pick 6 on the weekends simply because we're looking for the carryovers that usually have the biggest payouts on Saturdays. That's why we do that. But for the most part, I don't know, Terry, what's your favorite bet? Mine personally is the trifecta. And then I like to do the pick 4s.
I like it.
That's it.
Yeah, I like the exactas, but then I love the picks, the pick 4 and pick 5s. I stay away from the pick 6s because they're so darn hard to get. Well, so are the 4 and 5, but the 6 is the worst.
My betting style is more of the hot dog betting style that we talk about around here. Is I grew up, a good friend of mine, Joe G, his dad was a professional gambler, played blackjack down at Atlantic City when they had one deck. You could actually count cards and do so effectively and win. And I talked to him about it. He's a very smart guy, probably one of the smartest people I've ever known. And he always told me, Rich, when you gamble, least amount of money, maximum amount of payout. And for me, I think trifectas, when you look at the exacta, superfecta, and I know superfectas pay more, but they're much harder to hit because that 4th pick makes it exponentially more difficult than the trifecta. And you can still get nice payouts on trifectas. I've hit a couple of $4 or $5. I've hit plenty of them in the day where I had to sign for them back in the old days when you went to the track and you signed. And then the pick 4s, if you can get a nice long shot in there, you can get some huge payouts there. So that's why I like to bet those two. It all kind of goes back to that. Anyhow, did you talk about your picks here, Terry? What did you talk about?
No,
the early pace and all that stuff.
Yeah, we need to go to your next the next sheet that you do.
All right. So in race number 6, again, you got an interesting race shape here. The 7 and the 8, they want to be out on the front by themselves. Nothing in between. You got the 5 and the 6, your 2 closers. The 2, 3, and 9 in their races so far haven't been close to the winner, not within 5 lengths. Looks to me like the 5, 6, 7, and 8, Terry, that quartet could be pretty difficult to contend with for the rest of the folks up in here.
Yeah. All righty. Well, let's see.
What do you got?
What I like is I like the number 5 as my first pick. She finished second versus similar in her last race, and they added Lasix today. Mm-hmm. And then number 9, Little Doyle, is my second pick, drops in class today, switches to high percentage winning jockey, and has a really nice bullet workout on April 27th. The 7, Wildcat Girls, my third pick. She finished third versus similar in her last race at Parx Racing and has a high percentage winning jockey and trainer. Back to the future is the 8 horse, which is my long shot. Finished second in her last race, and her best start speed is fastest among today's starters. I'm going to play a 50-cent trifecta here. I'm going to use the 5-7-9 with the 5-7-9 with the 5-6-7-8 and 9.
So Superman Bass Fisher bets win, place, show, and exactas. Sometimes when I go through this at the end of the day, I feel like I should have bet a lot of exactas too, because I have a lot of these horses and I bet the trifecta and I miss one like on the opening leg. Yeah. But in any case, where do you bass fish, by the way? An old acquaintance of mine used to be on the professional bass fishing tour, actually a contestant in the Bass Masters out of Florence, Kentucky, I think, or Henderson, Kentucky. His first name, Kevin. I don't want to give out his last name on air, but Kevin, if you're ever watching, man, look me up, hit me up on HRT Rich on Twitter or email me. But I'd love to get back together again. Was a jockey too. I think he actually rode in the Kentucky Derby. Not 100% sure, but I know he was a jockey, and he was taller than I am, Terry. And I'm 5'9". He's a tall jockey. And man, Kevin hit the golf ball a long way. Really nice guy, great family. In any case, a little bit off the beaten path there. I like the 9 horse in here. I know it's one of those horses that fit in that never close column, I think, but it is the straight maiden special weight dropper and has a pair of bullet workouts before going back to the track here, being off since October. I got to love those straight maiden special weight droppers into these lower class levels, especially with some really strong workouts getting prepped. Number 7, Wildcat Girl, ran the top last race speed figure. A couple of workouts in between. Bettors have backed this horse, so maybe there's something there on the track that people like when the horse is working out. It is an overlay with a good C-zone score too. Blame Catalia has the best early speed, late speed combination in the field. Comes in from Laurel Park. Some early speed for this one, Terry, and gets first-time Lasix. If you've watched the show enough, you know I am a big fan of horses that show early speed, stop, and then turn around and get Lasix because that speed tends to hold up. And then finally, the 3-horse JSK Lucky's Pushpa. Not sure what a Pushpa is, but apparently it's lucky for JSK. This is the other straight maiden special weight dropper in the class. And Scott Lake, quite frankly, is a really good trainer. This horse has 17 furlongs of workout since, so I think it'll come to the race ready to run. If you look at the morning line odds, you look at the sim odds, you look at the data, this race is wide open. I'm going to hope I get it right with the 7-9 over the 5-7-9 over the 3-5-7-8-9 trifecta.
Okay. And Nick B says that maybe you got your pick 4 wrong.
Yeah, which is in race 6. Okay, race number 2. What do I have? 3-8 with the 1-3. So 3-8, and then I have 3-8. This is where I screwed up, huh? 1-3-7. I don't have the one. I have 3-6 and 2 here.
Yeah.
What am I doing, Charles? All right. I mean, Terry, I'll go back and correct that. I know I got the 1 right. And in this race, the 5-7, I got it all screwed up. I don't know what I was doing. Hold on. Yeah. Let me go back and correct that. You're right.
All right. Why don't you do that?
Let me delete that, Terry.
Yeah. Okay. Superman Bass Fisher. I'm going to tell you that's the smartest way to bet, I think. Win, place, and show and exactas. The only other thing I'd really add is the double, which is a pretty nice payoff or a pretty nice bet to do. I actually play these pick 4s, 5s because I'm looking at the big pay bag, but really it's better to stay with the win, place, show, and exactas. Mm-hmm. So,
all right. So I don't remember what order I had Terry in here, but anyway, I'm going to go with the 1, the 3, and the 8 with, and the third race. I'll make sure I got this right. 2, 3, and 6. And I was going to single the 1 in that last leg. And then go with and not that leg, with the 1, 3, and 6. I think that's how I had it. I'm not 100% sure if I went 3 by 3 by 1 by 3, but if I went over my allotted budget, and I don't think I did, Terry will not get too mad at me. All right. I think I got that corrected now.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to go off to race number 7 now, correct?
Yep.
All right. How much time do we have to this next race here? Race number 2. Well, they're going to about to start race number 2. So we'll go off to race number 7 in a minute. Race number 2, they are starting to load. Here are our picks up on the screen. Hey, Jay, can you do me a favor, Jay Marco? Yeah. They say that the mind is the first thing to go. Thanks, Jay. I appreciate that. There's a whole lot of other parts that my back is starting to go. My knee is starting to go. After doing all that typing on the weekend for that wagering guide, I had the worst case of carpal tunnel syndrome. My elbow hurts from playing golf all summer. It's been definitely tough sledding for sure in terms of things going. But speaking of going, Jay, if you can let me know in the comments section with a thumbs up, thumbs down, yes, no, if you were able to take care of that or not, or if we have to go back and redo it, I would appreciate that. I haven't heard from Sean yet, so had a nice double for the Derby, beaten by Mage. Yeah, a lot of people got beat by Mage, and except for Charles, man. Charles was all over that horse based upon the workouts. So again, 2 enthusiastic thumbs up for Charles on that call. Charles,
that's right.
Charles has been kind of on top of things lately.
Well, I had Charles's horse in my pick 3 that went from the day before Oak State to the next day. Mm-hmm. I hit that pick 3, but I threw that one in because of what Charles had been saying. And then I did use it in a couple of 3 other bets in the Derby. I was just disappointed that my Japanese horse didn't do it.
Yeah, neither one of them really fired.
No, only ran.
So in race number 2, they're off and running, and the 8 horse in here, a Fleet Diva, does have about a length and a half lead over everybody else. It was the horse that did great out with the top early pace figures. Should be comfortable up there with that strong C-zone score. Let's see if it can hold on. Although ran a little bit faster than the 8-horse did in the prior start. It went in 22 and 4, whereas the other race, the horse went in 23. This should be a test if speed does hold up. The 5-horse now is kind of making a move in here, Terry. Neither one of us has that 5-horse. Reiterate. It's coming around the bend, trying to make a move, though the jockey on the 8-horse is looking between his legs. I don't know if his horse is out of speed or what. If he really hasn't asked him to go yet. And so now he's asking him to go a little bit. The 3-horse on the rail is trying to make a significant move in here. Are they going to be able to catch him? The jockey is really kind of wiggling around on the 8-horse. But so it looks right now, the 3-horse is the one with the best chance to catch him. I don't know that he will, but he might. The 4-horse is flying late. But for the second race in a row, it goes 8, and then the 4, then the 3. So back-to-back 8s. That 4 pennants was just trucking at the end, Terry.
Yeah, I should have did my double 3 and 3, but I didn't.
It's always the next horse, Terry.
Yeah, it is.
And it's and I'm grateful that that Nick had me change my pick 4. Otherwise, I might have been all messed up afterwards.
You would have been, yeah.
Thanks, like, Nick. You got all these horses and none of them matter. Thumbs down. So you weren't able to take care of it. All right. Can you send the picture then to Sean's for me so I can go take care of it? I'd appreciate it. You had Mage, but missed a trifecta. Yeah. I thought the trifecta, if you had Mage, might not have been that difficult to get because the 14-horse Angel of Empire was a big favorite for everybody, right?
Yeah.
Or one of the favorites too. You had Mage starred and never bet. Yeah. I hate when that happens too. In the Kentucky Derby where, what's his name? Ken Rudolph made his name for hitting the long shot, Giacomo. Yeah. I had that horse pegged too, but I went to Germany that day and didn't bet. Just horrible. Mage is absolutely the rage. And, well, hopefully we can have some news about that later on. I'll let you guys know. I saw something today that interested me. Mage apparently is a part of like one of those ownership group types things, Terry.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
I did not know that either, but I found that out today. So I'm going to be reaching out to the folks at Commonwealth. I think it's commonwealth.com. Uh-huh. That's where you can, they have horses, much like myracehorse.com. They've teamed up with the Windstar Farms, which is a pretty big outfit that I'm familiar with. And a lot of people maybe just familiar with the horse racing have heard that, that facility. I'm going to reach out and see if they're willing to partner up with us, Terry, and bring some of that information in there.
See, Philip Perkins has a micro share. He did similar to what I did with Authentic.
So how's it gone for you, Philip? Do you like it? I mean, has it been straight up? It's a little bit of the insight there on what we should look out for there. 8 wins, race number 2. Back-to-back 8s going wire to wire. So it is Monday, Terry. We're back. The universe is back to normal because speed is holding up at Parx on Monday. All right, let's go back to our handicapping and see if we can continue with winners at the top of the ticket, Terry. Race number 7. No surprise, 6 furlongs. This one is a claiming 7,500 non-winners of one in a year. The purse is 21 grand again, and repetitive. Early speed does okay. Tactical speed, 35% wire to wire, maybe a higher percentage based upon what we've seen in the first 2 today. If you wear it 8 or higher, you get a little bit of an advantage at 6 furlongs. In race number 7, quartet of scratches does look again like the speed is to the outside with the 12 positively awesome. That's probably how Charles is feeling after picking Mage to win the Derby.
Yeah, and I guess he made some pretty good bets too on it. So anyway, that 12 should beat them all to that quarter pole. The 9 has a small overlay, very small. It's like almost a little bit over 6-1 simulated odds and 8-1 on the morning line. The 4 and the 8 have the best C-zone numbers, especially the 4. So.
Our way to the winner's circle worksheet is going to give us a sense of how these horses like to run in race number 7. Click the right button. Too many buttons here, Terry. You got, again, the 9 and the 12, a couple horses that want to be on the lead, the EP type. So if they can get to the lead, as we've seen today, they have a good shot to hold up in there because everybody else wants to close or be middle back. Maybe the 3 horse can get in there. Trader's Luck, the 4 horse, the pressure horse, can be involved early, but it sure looks like of the 2 speed horses, Positively Awesome will have the best shot to get a trip on the lead. Late speed favors Manahawkin. There you go. That has an 8-point advantage. So of all the closers, this one has the sturdiest legs late, and our early speed late piece combination belongs to Enraged, the 3 horse, that PC type. PC types, lone PC types, sort of score like that, you definitely have to consider them in your tickets, Terry. I don't know if I have Enraged in mind. Do you?
I do. Yeah, it's my first pick, number 3, Enraged. I love PC horses.
No,
He
I
has
got it in
finished-
there too. I don't even know I can't even remember, J. Marco. The brain is the first thing to go.
Yeah. Well, he's finished in the money in the last 9 starts, winning 3 of those races, running second in the last race, and has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Number 2 is my second pick, finished third versus Cuffer in his last race at Parx Racing. He drops in class today and has a high percentage winning trainer. And then Magatron, number 10, is my third pick, ran second versus Similar in his last race, has the highest speed figure at today's distance. Number 4, Trader's Luck, has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. I'm going to play another pick 4. I'm going to use the 2, 3, 4, and 10. I'm going to single the 2 in the 8th race, then go with the 5, 8, and finish it up with the 7, 8, 10.
I didn't realize this because it's so many picks, and the brain is indeed gone. Enraged is my top pick here too, Terry, with the best speed figure last time out. Much better performance in the later part of its last effort. Sometimes that leads to momentum in the next race as well. Been at Parx, been successful there. 13 races, 3 wins, 4 seconds, 3 thirds. That adds up to 10 of 12. 10 of 13, sorry. Bad math. Moving up in class, though, is my concern for Enraged. Number 12, Positively Awesome. We've seen in the first 2 races, could be key if it gets up front, Terry, as the pace setter does have one of the better C-zone scores as well. At Parx, 6 times with 4 thirds. So today it's going to have to do something it hasn't done to win, and that's get out of 3rd place. Magnetron, the 4, been really sharp in its last 3 races. Another one that's done well at the distance here, 8 times out, 4 seconds and 2 thirds. Another one, again, that has to find a winner circle at a distance it feels comfortable with, but just hasn't closed the deal. Then finally, in the 9 horse, Jarland was really much improved in the first half mile of its last race. That's a really nice, strong workout sense, so I would expect that to continue. Race number 8 in this 10 race card is next up on the block for us, Terry. Terry on the block. Let's see. We got here. I put in a claim on Relishment. Love that horse and hoping it comes through. All right, McNugget. Give us some more insights, too, about what's going on at the Parx track since you put a claim in on it. So what do you think, too, when we had Larry Ravelli? I'm kind of curious about your thoughts on this as well. Yeah, they are on the up and up. Fantastic, Philip. I appreciate that because I absolutely 1,000% are going to reach out to them and talk to them about seeing if they'll team up with us as a sponsor in some respect. So when we had Larry Ravelli on, he was talking a little bit about the new claiming rules, about how it's basically claim without risk now.
Yeah.
Tell us your thoughts about that in the comments section, your experience with that and how you feel about it. All right. In race number 8, Terry, they're going to, this is one of the marquee races of the day, race 8 and race 9. Allowance 50,000, non-winners of the year, one in a lifetime. It is a state bred, if you notice here. This little designation there with the square and the S indicating that it is a states race. Purse is $50,000. And we've been through 6 furlongs 1,000 times. You know how they win, Terry. Who's going to get to the front?
Well, it looks like the inside 4 is going to have all the speed. So just anybody's guess who's going to get there first. The 2 has a nice overlay. It's supposed to be less than even money. And he's listed at 7-2 in the morning line. The C zones, they all have good C zone numbers, except for maybe the 5's a little bit low, but the rest of them are pretty good in the green.
As far as our race shape is concerned, in race number 8, this allowance race of the 1 and 2 marquee races, look at all that speed, Terry. 1, 3, 5, 6, and 8. Ooh, I see a shape like this. I think immediately speed of the speed, or give me a PC or P type or a lone closer, and you got a lone each one of those that could have a chance to get to the could get a chance to run against a lot of tiring legs. As far as that early speed, it's that PC type in there, the 2 horse for the Dreamers, has the most early speed, but not necessarily going to be lead dependent. I think you're likely to see the 3 horse try to get to the front. You have another left arrow horse with the 4 horse, Mr. Sandman, a closer. But minus the 8 horse in here, Terry, all of them are pretty close in terms of early speed. So it could be competitive up front. Late legs could be the difference maker here. And Dance Code, the 8 horse, which wants to be in the lead but doesn't get the lead, is going to have the most late legs by about a 12-point margin. Interesting. And then finally, for the Dreamers, Dance Code, pretty competitive spot in here, Terry. This race shape is going to be, I think, kind of crazy in terms of how this race plays out. When it's said and done, how do you see it playing out?
Yeah, I actually love that too for the Dreamers. He's my pick of the day at Parx. He won his last race at Parx Racing, has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and his best start speed is fastest among today's starters. And then number 7 is my second pick, won his last race at Parx Racing. His best start speed is fast among today's starter. He has the highest speed figure at today's distance. The 8, Dance Code, is my third pick. He finished third versus similar in his last race. Has the best start speed among today's starters. Actually tied with the 2 for the Dreamers. My long shot is number 5, Captain Chaz. He won 2 of his last 3 races, and the shorter distance will be a plus for him. I'm going to bet $10 to win on the 2 horse.
So while Kadir K thinks the 8 is the hard to guess who's going to win, Terry thinks it's not. He thinks the 2 horse is going to be the play because it's his play of the day, his POD from Terry. For the Dreamers, does have the top early pace late combination in the field. It's an overlay in here too, Terry. 3 to 5 morning line looks like it could be as low as 1 to 2 and still catch value. Tied for the top C zone in here. I like the fact that this horse does run well fresh like today. It does concern me that it's taking a good sized class hike in here. Captain Chaz ran much faster fractions last time out at 7 furlongs than the 5 horse did at 6 furlongs. That cut back to 6 furlongs could be the difference maker for Captain Chaz. Talented man, Terry, again, that designation goes to you. Kind of hard to throw this guy out of here. It's an all or nothing type. It either wins or kind of runs off the board, but has some very strong workouts indicating that the horse could put in one of those all or nothing type events. If the horse gets to the lead, breaks sharply, and fights for the lead early on, I think it's got a really strong chance to go on and win. Finally, Dance Code, that 8 horse, was a hard choice for me over the 7 horse, Mitropanos, but it's been competing against much stiffer competition and doing so competitively. Trifecta 2, 3, 5 with the 2, 5 with the 2, 3, 5, 7, and 8. Now we move on to the last 2 at the Monday Parx card. Hold on, let's see. If you look at the lineage with the relishment to Awesome again, it's his blood. Watch him on the blitz. I can see him hanging back. We'll see him make a dash on Screensaver. All right, let's see if indeed he can make a big run at the end of the race and come home the winner for McNugget, who could turn around and put him out again next time. And McNugget, if you do get the claim in, come back tomorrow and let us know if you got it. And then when it runs again, give us some insight as to whether you feel like it's of course you could think it's going to win, but give us the true skinny. Race number 9, the second of the 2 marquee races, is allowing 60,000. This one is for 3 years old and up for the ladies. Again, 6 furlongs. We've talked about it till we're quite literally blue in the face about it. Early speed, tactical speed, wire-to-wire types do well. Outside post a little bit better than inside posts. In race number 9, Terry, that early speed belongs to the
9 and the 3.
Mm-hmm.
The 9 and the 3 are pretty close on their speed. Just depends on who gets out there first. So it's anybody's guess who's going to get there to the quarter pole first. The 4 has an overlay, supposed to be simulated odds of 3 to 1, and it's 9 to 2 on the morning line. And then the 5 has a really nice overlay, supposed to be less than even money, and it's going to be listed as morning line odds of 7 to 2. As far as the C zones, look, they almost all have good C zone numbers except for the 1 and the 3. So
yeah, a lot of dark green on there for that.
Yeah, there is. So that's pretty good.
If you haven't done so and you're new here today, kindly please hit us up with the likes on Facebook and on Twitter and on YouTube. Thumbs up, help us with their algorithms. So when folks search for horse racing stuff, we'll show up a little bit higher in the search results. Hit also the subscribe button if you haven't done so yet on YouTube, trying to get to 10,000 subscribers in 2023. It's going to be a little bit of a tall task, but with your help, we'll get there. And we certainly do appreciate that. Let's see if we can find anything to appreciate in the race shape for race number 9, Terry. Wow, interesting here. Big race, 3 and the 8. Those two have gotten to the front, and a lot of the 10 horse and a lot of the others have kind of struggled of late, Terry. I don't think that'll be the case here today. Early speed, let's see if the 3 other 10 is going to be up on the front. Yeah, indeed. Hey, Mama Luke should be up there. Late pace numbers favoring the 8 horse, Golden Tabby. Well, a couple others have a good shot to be put a good late effort in. And then finally, Golden Tabby does grade out as the horse with the best early speed, late speed combination. All right, Terry, take us through your thoughts on the race number 9.
I like number 8, Golden Tabby. She's has been off for 5 months, but she's been steadily working out for today's contest. And she's won 5 out of 7 starts at Parx Racing, so she really likes this track. Number 5, Center Court Champ. As my second pick, she ran second versus Tougher. In her last race, drops in class today and has a high percentage winning trainer. Number 4, Early Edition. She has won 2 races in a row, is going for a hat trick. And then the one Shiro, is or S Hero.
I go Shiro.
Yeah,
it's like a hero, a she-hero, a Shiro, like Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Well, she ran second in her last race at Parx Racing, switches the high percentage winning jockey. I'm going to play the 50-cent trifecta. I'm going to play the 5-8 with the 4-5-8 with the 1, 3, 4, 5, and 8.
I agree with Barry Knight here. He said 53 people watching. That means we need 53 thumbs up. We do try to put out good information, and some of it we've created on our own, like C-Zone. You can't get that anywhere else. Working on a way to also put the left arrow horses in there that you can't get anywhere else. Race 9, Kadir, single Center Court Champ for Kadir. So mark that one down in your calendars, that 5 horse in your books. I like the Center Court Champ as well as my top picking here. Dropping in class off the top last race, speed figure, been his best at 6 furlongs. Winner 4 of 6. Ran other distances 12 times and only collected the big check twice. So 6 furlongs being the key here. Golden Tabby, boy, loves some Parx. Been out 7 times. 5 of those times ended up in the winner's circle. But if you kind of dig through the wins a little bit, most of them are at lower levels. Or the one allowance race was versus state breds. This is open company, which is a different bunch of cats to tame in here. I think it could be a little bit of a difficult task to make it 6 wins in 8 races for Golden Tabby. Early Edition, that 4 horse, won the 3 of its last 4 races. And when it wins in those 3, quite frankly, none of them were close. Finally, number 4, Hey, Mama Luke, just won an optional claiming 62.5 out at Aqueduct. You got to think that optional claiming 62.5 is probably on par with this race right here at Aqueduct. I think the good work since that last race indicate that the horse should put out another good effort. And but the off the bench record after a little bit of time in the barn is a bit spotty for Hey Mama Luke. Got a chance to get on that lead. And again, we saw lead hold up for the first 2. I'm going to do a $1 double, 5-8 over to 7-8 because quite frankly, I wasn't sure how much money I had left. Didn't want my the old Catholic school teacher Terry with the ruler busting up my knuckles again, right?
Yep.
Let's see, Perez. I do have a hell of a horse, one hell of a race day today. Hey, good. We do. We wish everybody nothing but luck around here, McNugget. It's gambling, right? So whenever you're betting horses, man, sometimes a little bit of luck goes a long way. I think about that ticket, Ross's ticket, right? If he wasn't watching our show with Larry Rivelli, he doesn't put that one horse in there and he might not get $95,000. So yeah, it's a little bit good fortune, to put it mildly. Last race of the day, Terry, is race number 10. In this spot, maiden claiming 16,000 for a purse of 24 grand, 6 furlongs. We know the way you win at 6 furlongs belongs to tactical speed, occasional wire to wire, outside post a little bit better. Speed-wise, the 7 and the 8s are going to duke it out. Maybe it's a pity. I'll give them a little bit of a push too.
Yeah, that's right. Looks like the 7 and the 8, but the 1 and the 4 also have some speed, so they may have something to say about it. As far as the overlay, the 4 has a small overlay. It's supposed to be like 7.5 to 1 simulated odds, and it's 10 to 1 in the morning line. There's a large overlay on the 8 horse. It's supposed to be just over even money, and it's listed there at 4 to 1 in the morning line. So most of these horses have pretty good C-zone numbers, except for maybe that 10 horse and the 5.
Yeah, so again, a race that should fit most people's eye, so to speak. Interesting here. You got nobody that really wants to be on the lead. At least they haven't traditionally got to the lead and had a good race. Today's leader likely to look like it could be, could be a whole bunch of horses. Really, quite frankly, could be almost any of them based upon the early pace numbers we see here. Late pace looks like a pretty good favoring the 6, the 10, the 4, and the 8. So since the early speed is kind of similar, wouldn't be surprised to see the winner come from that quartet. That quartet also generating the best early speed, late pace combinations. So all the even horses minus the 2 pop socks, 4, 6, 8, and 10, Terry, that looks like it could be a decent trifecta box for me just based upon the pace numbers. What do you say in terms of your analysis?
Well, I like the 8 Run for Carl as my first pick, finished third versus similar in his last race. His best start speed is fastest among today's starters. The number 7 Norlander is my second choice. Has a high percentage winning trainer, and the shorter distance can help. Number 10, Secret Thunder. He has a high percentage winning jockey, has a trainer who wins 20% of the races in the second race after claiming a horse, and blinkers are added today. He's my third pick. My long shot's number 6, Stormy Fire. He ran second versus similar in his last race, and I don't really have any money left, so no bet for me.
I think Norlander is the horse to beat here. That's 7 horse. It's just the only straight maiden special weight dropper in the field. So on that alone, biggest class drop in all the horse racing. You can't pass this one up in your analysis. Did show a little bit more life early on in his last race with a big rebound in his 2 and 4 furlong pace numbers. Robert Reed, as you mentioned, Terry, does win well. He wins 27%, as a matter of fact, in this spot. Big number. Run for Carl could be the pace setter. Does have that strong C-zone score. Also has a overlay in there. Good chance. Good combination. That trifecta that we look for from that set of statistics. Number 10, Secret Thunder. Not really sure what happened in its last race. Really kind of blew up in its second start at Parx after coming from the Naira circuit. Interesting that Richard Vega, the trainer, goes back to jockey Jamie Torres, who finished second by 7 lengths. So well beaten second in the first start at the Philadelphia track. And then finally, number 4, JSK Pharaoh's Reign only has 1 race on its resume. So you really don't know what kind of upside this horse has, or downside for that matter. But I think of all the other horses, has the best chance to surprise. Trifecta for me, 50-cent type, 7-8, over 7, 8, 10, over the 4, 6, 7, 8, and 10 to wrap up our thoughts today at Parx. Here are our full picks. Race number 1 is in the books. 8 horse taking home the top prize in both, Terry. Again, tonight, don't forget, 8 p.m., join Jamie and Sean. You never know. You might get some information in that race that ends up helping you collect a $95,000 pick 5, as we saw on the weekend. Always entertaining with great guests with Sean, Jamie, and Julie. 8 p.m. Again, Terry, the best way to make sure you don't miss any of that is to do what?
Well, subscribe to YouTube, and hit that little bell so that you get notified on any of our shows. And give us a thumbs up and like there. Go to our social sites such as Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Give us thumbs up and likes there. Let all your friends and relatives and everybody you know about us so that they can come and see if it's something they can enjoy also.
Mm-hmm. And then today, if you're going to make any wagers, I accidentally put in I think Horseshoe Indianapolis. Yeah, Horseshoe Indianapolis is running today. That is the free track of the day. It's kind of muddy over there, so check that out. Go ahead and hit that free button down below so that they know you came from horse racing today. In the mud, Phillip Snow. It should do all right according to our picks. 9-5 favorite in race number 1. Let's see how that plays out. Make sure you take a look at that. If you like Major League Baseball, as many people do, our good friend Pick with the Professors, Professor Sides, actual statistics professor, puts all of his knowledge to work, tries to find some edges in Major League Baseball. You can find a link to that down in the description as well. When you win all that money with baseball bets, Charles's pick for the Kentucky Derby, Winning Touches has some excellent horse racing memorabilia. Get some, I see the kids nowadays, Terry, they wear colorful socks with images on them. So go out and have a little bit of arrested development. Go out and buy yourself some horse racing socks. Put them on with your slides, they call them now. We used to call them, what do we used to call them? Flippers or something? I don't remember. Flip-flops. Yeah. So you'll be in tune with the style right now. All right, Terry, tomorrow you and I will be back same time to cover the same track. Parx, we got a couple minutes here for race number 3, so I'm kind of stall a little bit, see if we can cover race number 3 before we click out of here today. But any final thoughts from you before we do jet off for the day?
Yeah, I hope everybody had a good time on the Derby Day and Oaks Day. I did. I enjoyed myself, had a lot of fun, won some money, lost some money, but you know how it goes. And I hope everybody's safe and that weather cooperates and doesn't give anybody problems this next week. Tell your friends and your loved ones how you feel about them, because you never know what's going to happen.
So you mentioned the Kentucky Derby today. Just, having fun betting. And so I was getting prepped and I was listening to some stuff in the background, and they were talking about the Kentucky Derby, and they actually played a replay of the Kentucky Derby. Yeah. But because I was working on this, I wasn't watching the video. I was just listening to it. I would encourage you to go out, put it up on YouTube or whatever, and don't watch the video. Just listen to it. And you can hear the announcer making the call. But what was interesting is listening to the crowd in the background. Yeah. As the race was going on. And just the enthusiasm as the race was coming closer and closer and closer to the finish line, just from listening standpoint, it really kind of gave me a lot of adrenaline and actually made my hair stand up on my arm. Wow. Yeah. So it's amazing how much your eyes kind of affect what you're doing, right? I sent that to Sean. Okay, fantastic. Yeah, he had texted that to me. So thank you. I appreciate that. Jay, today's a busy day. It'll either be tomorrow or Thursday that I'll be able to go take care of it. So I will let you know when it's done, but it will definitely be done. So I would absolutely 1000%. When you have 2 minutes today, put it on. Don't look at the screen. Close your eyes and just listen to the crowd in the background. It will fire you up. A little bit of an adrenaline boost for the day, Terry. All right, so race number 3 is about to get started. Let's go ahead and see what happens in race number 3, Terry. I'm alive in my corrected pick 4 with the 2, the 3, and the 6. Right now on the program, it looks like the 6 horse is the favorite at 1-1. Terry's pick to click today as they come out of the gates. And kind of an interesting, weird start, to be honest with you, for the 3 horse in there. My top pick kind of rushed up, and then the jockey on him kind of pulled him back a little bit. Luis Rivera, so kind of odd. A 4 horse, the one that we said Queen Pin would get to the lead, is on the lead. It is duking it out with the 5 horse Cousin Marie. That duo is blasting out. That 2 horse in there, Escanando, running 3rd. They go through the opening quarter in 24 for the 7 furlong race. A little bit on the slow side, Terry. The 6 horse is in 4th right now, but not really closing the ground on that horse at all, Terry.
Yeah. 6 horse got a kind of a bad break too.
Mm-hmm. So right now, that 4 horse up on the lead. I got to say, to me, though, if I were a betting person, like if I could bet now, the horse I'd want to have would be the 2 horse, although other horses are coming. The 2 horse has a good stride to it. It's now moving up on the rail. Question is, can the other people, that 3 horse after that funky break, trying to make a move, that 7 horse on the inside. So some of these latecomers are going to get into the mix at the end. It sure looks to me like the 6 horse right now is trying to rally. That's going to be tough to run down that 2 horse, though. I think it's going to go 2. Yeah, 2 horse is going to be your winner. 2 over the 1, and then maybe on the rail down there, the 7 horse. 2, 1, 7. Yeah, 2, 1, 7. So did I have? I did have the 2 horse in there, Terry. Good. So I'm alive on my pick 3, and again, I pick 4, and again, Terry, as always, it's the next horse that screws you up, my friend.
Yeah, usually that's what happens.
It is. I mean, here you have the win on the 6. If you just flip those 2, your second pick, and you put 10 on that one to win, 7-2, you got a nice payout for yourself.
You sure do, yeah.
But it was pretty clear coming out of that turn that 2 horse was the winner there, that it was going to be the winner. All right, Terry, that wraps it up for today, folks. No matter what it is you're doing for the rest of this day, we certainly hope that you have God's favor and grace. It's sunny and warm wherever you are. And until we get back together again, everything you do ends up in our good friend, Jay Marco's
Winner's Circle.
Indeed. Thanks for joining us. Look forward to joining you again tomorrow for Parx on Terry Tuesday.